right now what I want to do is dive a little deeper into what we can do with Power Pages as a professional developers. And so we have a principal PM from Power Pages, my friend Sandeep, to show us how it's done.
Thank you, Greg. Hello and welcome to the session Pro Development with Power Pages. I'm Sandeep Dhanrajani, Product Manager on the Power Pages team. First, about the product. Microsoft Power Pages is a secure, low-code SaaS platform for creating external-facing business websites. You can get started quickly by creating modern sites and customize them to your needs without code or with code, some of the techniques that you'll be seeing today in this session. Power Pages supports website development by Fusion teams that comprise of members of all tech fluencies. On the tech fluency spectrum, if you see, we support the needs of business users who want to create sites in a no-code WYSIWYG way to the IT pros and site admins who would want to administer and govern their site using configuration and settings. And all the way to the other end of the spectrum, we support the needs of the professional web developers who would want to extend Power Pages sites by writing code to meet the complex business requirements that their use cases demand. In this diagram, I would like to summarize and show you in a glance options that our makers and developers have when it comes to developing with Power Pages. First of all, let's look at some of the low-code, no-code options where you can get started quickly creating a site, creating the content for your web pages, creating and managing your web pages, the sitemap, choosing your core styling themes, configuring your authentication and authorization, multilingual support, content snippets, site settings, etc. Also, you can quickly configure forms and lists over data, and Power Pages does support multi-step forms as well. And also, in a low-code way, you could be configuring your web roles, table permissions, because Power Pages supports the role-based access control mechanisms. In terms of the integrations as well, Power Pages integrates natively with Power Virtual Agents for creating chatbots, embedding Power BI reports, other Microsoft products like SharePoint, Azure AD B2C, and also you could leverage the native integration between Dataverse and Power Automate to trigger actions as cloud flows. Now, coming to the pro development options, really. Pro developers can now extend custom, create custom front-end UI and code using JavaScript, HTML, CSS, etc. They can create, custom page layouts and style sheets. Power Pages supports Bootstrap as a styling framework, and also create some custom data presentation, use bound or unbound PCF or code components to represent your or override your field controls on the form, use dataset controls for grids or galleries use cases, and also like developers can leverage the liquid code support that Power Pages provides for reading data from Dataverse. And if you have to really build complex integrations, you could also leverage the web APIs that Power Pages support to query your Dataverse data securely. In this segment, last but not the least, is you can also use the Dataverse extensibility options in terms of plugins and processes, and also the virtual table support, which allows you to query data from other sources and show them in Dataverse and also in Power Pages. Now, before we see some examples for Pro Dev extensibility, let's take a look at first how Power Pages promotes developer productivity. Power Pages supports the Power Platform command line interface, using which you can download your website code locally, and then using Visual Studio Code, you can edit that in the VS Code itself. But what we have recently launched, and I'll show you just in a bit now, is the Power Pages Studio integration with the Visual Studio Code for web. So with zero install, VS Code footprint, and from the studio itself, you can invoke Visual Studio Code for web editor and get into editing the source code of the page, its header, and other files. Once done, you can save and sync all your updates, and then you can view them within the studio or browse them on your site real time. Now we'll look at some practical examples of how you can use these tools to build rich experiences and implement your advanced business scenarios. Pages supports code components. that allows you to create your own rich custom controls or use some of the out-of-the-box rich controls. In this example, you can actually have a list on a Power Pages site represented as an editable grid using the Power Apps native editable grid control. And you can give all of that functionality to your Power Pages site users. You can also extend and create your own controls or use some out-of-the-box controls like rich text editor for your command, comments, prompts, description, details, etc. Another advantage of code components is reusability. As you can see in this example, a signature control built as a code component works equally well on a Power Pages site and a Power Apps model-driven app. The benefit with Power Pages code extensibility is that developers can use familiar languages and frameworks such as HTML, CSS, Power Pages support Bootstrap, as I said before, JavaScript, liquid templating, web APIs, everything you should already be aware of. Here's an example of data being read on a form. I'll just quickly show you the code. Here, Power Pages supports the open source liquid templating language, and it gives you objects from Dataverse that you can securely read data from and show them on your form. For example, here, we are using that to query data from Dataverse and show it on the form section for the first name, last name, and the other user details. Or implementing form and page behaviors as well can easily be done. Here, you can use client scripts to fill data, show hide fields, make them read only, and that's allowed on the form or on the whole web page as well. And then you can always create your own custom experiences that interact with data in Dataverse using the web APIs that Power Pages provides. I have to highlight that web APIs not only honor the pages role-based access control mechanism, but also provides much granular control in terms of security. So at a record level, you can control the permissions like create, read, update, delete, and also you can control the columns on which that's allowed. And then, last but not the least, Power Pages fully supports the build and deploy phases of a typical DevOps lifecycle. You can source control your website, customizations, configurations, either in GitHub or Azure DevOps, and then create CI/CD pipelines, which is continuous integration, continuous deployment pipelines with Azure DevOps or GitHub Actions to automate your builds. Some of this information is more in detail available on our Learn documentation. So yeah, so that was a quick overview about Power Pages Pro development options, and I would encourage you to deep dive into Power Pages, other capabilities and Pro Dev capabilities on our Learn site. With that, I'll hand it over to Greg for the next segment.